What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It is HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And I guess welcome to once again another convention recap video. This will be my recap video from Monster Mania 59 up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which was this past weekend. Had a blast at this show. I would probably say it's my favorite Monster Mania that I've been to probably in the last couple of years. Probably my favorite one that I've been to in the last 5 or so times I've gone to Cherry Hill, New Jersey for Monster Mania. It's one of the closest ones to me, so always a great time to go over there, and it's definitely one of the, probably for me personally, probably the most adventurous Monster Mania for me personally, in a good way. But I'll get more into that when I get to the stories and all that stuff. But because though it was such a busy convention for me because of how busy it was and how adventurous it was, I mistakenly did not pick up a flyer for the show, and I usually do have a pamphlet from the show, but I did not grab one this time around. So I unfortunately do not have anything to show for the pamphlet and all that stuff. But before I get onto like the autographs and the stories and everything like that, toward the end of the night when I was done all my stuff and everything, I did stop in the vendor room and I did go to the Diabolic DVD table, and they had two things, and I got two things from their table, and it was actually both Synapse releases, Synapse films, and one of them, of course, one of them really surprising because I did not know Synapse had a release of this. It was only limited to I think it was only limited to like 5,000 copies or something like that, but I'll get to that one later after this one. But the first one I picked up was Satan's Little Helper, which I've been wanting to get on Blu-ray for a while from Synapse. So I really, and very solid film by Jeff Lieberman. And speaking of Jeff Lieberman, this is the one I was talking about that I was surprised by, but this is the limited edition Blu-ray cover thing of Blue Sunshine. This DVD was out of print for so many years, and now finally, thanks to Synapse Films, now we have a Blu-ray of this. So this is really cool, and really cool artwork on there. I mean, Synapse did a really good job on the artwork on here. I mean, just and like really cool stuff. Like, that's a really cool looking release from Synapse. So those were the two things that I got from the vendor areas and all that stuff. But I figured I'd show those first and get more into the stories with the autographs and all that stuff. So this show for me personally was a big one for me because not only did I have the back a few months ago, back in March, I was telling you guys how this was the show where I had my photo op with Robert Englund, which went really great. I was really glad I finally got my photo op with Robert Englund. But there's a little bit to the stories that I'll be telling and all that stuff that has something to do with the photo op. So that's actually going to be the first story I'll be telling with the first guest and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's get into the show. So I got there at about 4 o'clock. Probably 5 minutes after the show started, 4 or 5, when autograph hours begin. And there, as soon as I got in line, as soon as I got into the main lobby area, there was a line to get into the gallery room, which is the smaller autograph room where they have some stars in. And 3 of my people that I wanted were in that room, so there was a line forming. Wasn't too bad of a line at first. So in the room they had William Shatner, they had Tony Revolori, Mikey Madison, Melissa Barrera, and I feel like there might have been one other person in there. I can't remember. I think Eugene Clark from Land of the Dead was in there. He's always in that room as well. So that gets into the first guest I wanted to meet. So going on to the first guest, Melissa Barrera. That was the first person on my. She was my top meet of this con because I'm a big fan of the character of Sam in the newer Scream films. I think she's a total badass and all that stuff. So I really wanted to get her first. So while I was in line to get into the room, the volunteers were coming out of the room and pulling people out of line that were strictly there to see William Shatner. So once they got everybody out of line that was there for Shatner, and they put them in the room, then the line that was outside of the gallery room was basically strictly for Melissa Barrera's line. And her line was, I was about 3.5 hours long. I waited in her line. I got it there about like 4:05. I was in line. And I didn't get into the room, and I got closer to her by almost like 7:20, like almost 7:30. So getting into the story of why the photo op with Robert Englund kind of ties into this. What happened was, because Melissa Barrera was taking her time with everybody, was hugging everyone and things like that, but I'll get more into that when I talk about my experience with her and all that stuff. So what happened was, I got to almost to the front of her line, like probably the second to last section before you get to her table and all that stuff. So my photo op with Robert Englund was at 7:20, and by the time I was almost getting to the front of her line, it was like 7:05, 7 o'clock. And I was like, oh geez, like there's no way I'm gonna get her because she's taking her time with everybody, and then get to this photo op, because you got to get to your photo op probably like 15 minutes early before and all that stuff, or else you miss out on the photo op. So I really had no choice but I asked the volunteers if I can, get out of line. They can hold my, they can let other people know that like I was in front of everyone else that was in there before me and things like that. And they said, no problem. Go to your photo op. We'll hold your bag for you and all that stuff. So the volunteers were absolutely amazing. Made it more feel easy. So I was able to hop out of the line, and I had to run down to the photo op room to get my photo op with Robert Englund. So the Robert Englund photo ops ran a little bit behind schedule, probably like 20 or so minutes. I was out of there. I was out of the photo op room. I got to the photo op room by about like 7:15 or like 7:05, something like that. I think 7:05, because you got to be there 15 minutes early, and was able to, like I said, delayed a little bit, but I finally eventually got my photo op with Robert Englund. Came out really, really nice. A pretty cool little interaction with Robert Englund. Glitching for some reason. Am I glitching on this video, guy? There we go. Jeez, my camera was having a seizure for a second. But pretty cool little interaction with Robert Englund. Finally got my photo with him. He's been on my list for quite a while, but his autograph line, like I said, is just way too long. So the best opportunity for me to get to meet him was a photo op. So I did pay for a photo op like months and months ago. So pretty cool, because like photo ops are usually like, snap, like next, snap. They go rapidly. They go really quick. Robert Englund, though, likes to take a couple seconds. Robert Englund's a talker and all that stuff, and he likes to talk with everybody. So I was wearing my Dice shirt, and he saw that I was wearing my Andrew Dice Clay shirt, and he's like, "Hey, I worked with him on Fort Fairlane," and we talked a little bit about that for a few seconds, and then we posed for the photo and all that stuff. So pretty cool little couple bonus seconds I got with Robert Englund. And Robert Englund was great. A very, very memorable experience for me, getting a photo op with Robert Englund. Just a fantastic guy, and just an awesome guy in general. So I might as well just show that first before I get onto the other ones. But here is my photo op photo with the man himself, Robert Englund. Okay, so now we're getting back to, as soon as I got my photo op done, I rushed all the way back up to where Melissa Barrera was at in the gallery room, and I ran all the way back up there. And sure enough, the volunteers knew who I was. They escorted me back into the room. They still had my stuff. They held it for me and all that stuff, and they were letting the people know that were in line, waiting for her, that I was going to be in front of them, because I was there before any of those people were, because I had to go do a photo op. And the con goers were so understanding, and the con people that, the general mission guests that were in her line. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, like, no problem, no problem, no problem. We understand." So they put me back in line where I was at, and I was able to finally get my chance to get to meet Melissa Barrera. Um, I picked out a really cool 8x10 photo with her with the ghost face mask, and I'll show that in the picture and all that stuff. But Melissa was easily the best guest of the whole show. She was so nice. She really takes her time with everybody. She took her time with me, and she complimented my Eagles hat. She really liked my hat, and like she was just like so nice. I mean, she asked if you wanted a quote or something like that, and I told her I did want her to sign a quote. I won't ruin it, but I'll save that for the photo. But and I was telling Melissa like how big of a line she had, and everyone came out to see her, and she was just like taken aback by that and things like that. So and I was even telling her that I was like getting a little stressed out because I had to get out of her line and go rush to do the photo op with Robert Englund and all that stuff. And she was like, just nodding her head, and she was really enticed of what I was saying. And she, as soon as she was done signing, while she was listening to me while she was signing, and as soon as she was done signing, she got up and hugged me, and she can tell that I was kind of stressed out a little bit because I was afraid I was going to miss meeting her. She like pulled me in for a hug and said it's okay. I'm glad you're here now. Thank you so much for waiting for me, and thank you for coming. She's just like that kind of a person. And then when it came time to take the photo with her, we took the photo, and then she hugged me again a second time. And I'd say when Melissa Barrera hugs you and everything, like it's very genuine. Like she like literally pulls you in and squeezes really tight. And she did that with every single guest, and she was talking with everybody and really taking her time and really wanted to make sure you got what you wanted and things like that. And you could not have asked for a better guest than Melissa Barrera. I probably would say she was probably my favorite female guest I've ever met at a horror convention, and that's saying a lot because I've met so many great female celebrities over the years, like Heather Langenkamp or Jennifer Banco or Amanda Wiss or and Jill Whitlow from Night of the Creeps, and I mean, I can go on and on about all the amazing female guests I've met, but Melissa Barrera just, for some reason, just took the cake when it came to great experiences. I mean, she was my main meet of the con, and I already knew right away that she was the absolute all-star of this con. I'm so glad Monster Mania got her booked and all that stuff, and I really do hope they bring her back for other shows. I mean, she was a huge hit. And not only that, too, it's just like with the other Screen people as well, where they really take their time and they stay late for the fans that really want to see them that night and all that stuff. And she did the same exact thing that the other Screen people did. So it's just really cool to see. My camera is having a seizure again. Ugh. There we go. Jesus. But I mean, I could not have asked for it. I mean, she probably spent like 5 minutes with me and all that stuff. She did that with like every single guest. So I am so pumped that and I would not mind meeting her again and getting her on something else. And I usually don't double dip on guest autographs and all that stuff, but she has been a rare exception. I really would like to get her again. I'm probably going to get her to sign something for Abigail because I really enjoyed that one as well. So enough of me rambling on here. There's a couple pictures here that I want to show you of Melissa Barrera, so this will be a lot of them for this one because the agent that took the photos did an amazing job. So here is my picture with me and Melissa Barrera. And here is a picture of Melissa Barrera signing the 8x10 photo. and her autograph on the item. And not only that too, but the agent also took took a photo of you and her hugging of her hugging you and all that stuff. And the picture came out amazing. Like she was doing that with every single guest that she was hugging and all that stuff. She took a photo of her hugging the guests and all that stuff. It's really cool. So here is the picture of Melissa Barrera giving me a hug. Okay, guys, so moving on here, I know that was a mouthful talking about Robert Englund and Melissa Barrera, but that was kind of like the story I wanted to tell, how it tied in and all that stuff. But getting on to the next guest, the next person I met was Mikey Madison. All of you know her as Amber Freeman from Scream 2022, but of course, I was kind of debating on getting on her for that or this, but I ultimately decided to go with her character Sadie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, who got the can of dog food thrown at her and she got torched by Leo in the pool. So I know Mikey arrived a little bit late because her flight was delayed a little bit, but she showed up still to the show and all that stuff. So I really wanted to get her next, and I was able to snag her right before she had to go do her solo photo op, which was cool. So everything was kind of lining up for me, even with how adventurous it was and everything. So, but Mikey was also a really nice lady as well. Very shy, very soft spoken. So, which is kind of crazy, considering how she plays a psycho character in Scream 2022 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. How crazy her performance is and all that stuff, and very talented. Just proves to show you just never know what the person behind the scenes is like in real life. And she was very soft spoken. She was very shy, very nice. Talked to me for about a minute or two. She complimented that it was pretty cool that someone brought up Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to her, because she's been signing a lot of Scream stuff. So pretty cool little moment right there. And also with Mikey Madison, you're not allowed to touch her. She's very nervous. I think this is like her first ever or second ever show she ever did, so she's not really used to the crowds and all that stuff. So the agent tells you don't touch her, don't put your hands on her. She's very nervous and all that stuff. So I always have to respect people's boundaries, but she was still very nice, very shy as well. So which I thought was kind of adorable. Mikey was a really nice lady. So here is my picture with me and Mikey Madison. And here's a picture of Mikey Madison signing my Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Blu-ray. And her autograph on the item. Okay, guys, moving on to the next one. This was the one that I didn't have to wait in line for a whole lot. He was walk right up with nobody there. Tony Revolori. I think that's how you say his last name, but of course he was in Scream 6 as Jason, and of course he was mostly known as Flash Thompson in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. So I really wanted to get him on a Scream photo. So Tony was a really cool guy. He was really cool. He was laughing with everybody. He had a big smile on his face and everything. And me and him were actually talking about Andrew Dice Clay, and he's like, I've heard of this guy before. I've heard of him. And he's like, do you think you can tell me some jokes and all that stuff about him? Because I don't think I've never even heard of his jokes before. And I'm like, well, I could tell you, but there's women in the room present and all stuff, and I don't think they want to hear those. And he's like, very understandable. So we were laughing a lot about that and things like that. And the photo I got of with him on Scream 6, a really funny quote that he put. I asked him to put, guys, I just have blue balls, like but I had to practice, which I thought he got a really good laugh out of the quote and all that stuff, and it's pretty cool, like where he kind of used two different like Sharpies with this one. He signed it in red, and then when he got to the blue balls part, he wrote blue in blue Sharpie because blue balls. So I mean, Tony was a really cool guy overall, and I'm really glad I got to get another Scream alumni from the newer generation of Scream. So here is my picture with me and Tony Revolori. And here's a picture of Tony signing the 8x10. And his autograph on it. Okay, everybody. Moving on here to the last one. The last guest of the show that I met, I was afraid I was probably gonna miss her because of how I had to do the photo of and how long Melissa Barrera took and all that stuff. But I was able to get her like toward the end of the night. That is Juliette Lewis. I mean, what more can be said about this lady that hasn't been said before? This lady is a legend. Has been in so many films over the years. Natural Born Killers, Christmas Vacation, California, and she's on the Yellow Jackets TV show now. Just look her up, like Cold Creek Manor with Dennis Quaid, and just so many things. But of course, I really wanted her on Cape Fear, which I probably would say, and me and Rob were talking about this last night, but I'd probably say it is my favorite Martin Scorsese film because I feel like it's the most underrated of the Scorsese films because everyone talks about Goodfellas and all that stuff, but I don't think really many people bring up Cape Fear, and Cape Fear is a damn good movie, and Juliette Lewis played Nick Nolte's daughter in the movie, so I really wanted to get her for on my Cape Fear DVD. And Juliette Lewis, probably my second favorite meet of the whole show. I mean, Juliette Lewis was just the life of the party. She's like uber cool, so nice, and she's laughing with everybody. And I saw her like she's like dancing with people in the line, and she's like the ultimate party girl. Just having a blast with everybody and things like that. And for a big A-list actress like Juliette Lewis, just seeing her having a great time with fans and all that stuff, it's just really cool to see, like, hey, she's just a normal person just like all the rest of us. So it was just really cool to see her like having a blast with the fans and all that stuff. And she was awesome with me. I mean, Juliette Lewis saw that I wanted her on Cape Fear, and I was telling her my whole thing about how I was so afraid that I was going to miss out on her because I had to do all the stuff earlier that I mentioned already. My camera is having a seizure again. Please stop. There we go. Golly. But I was telling her that I was afraid I was going to miss her, and she was like, she can tell that I was like really like stressed out about certain things, and also like, but she like she settled me and she's like, well, you're here now, right? I'm like yes, and she's like, come on, like she like pulled me in and she's like, come on now, and like you're here now, so let's take a cool photo together now. So that's the kind of person that she was and all that stuff. So Juliette Lewis, definitely a really cool lady, and I'm really glad that Monster Mania was able to get her a second show in a row, because I think she's going to be at the Baltimore show, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So really cool that they got her to do back-to-back shows, and I can see why. She is definitely the life of the party. I would say she was the party girl of the whole show, at least for me, that I've seen. Just a really cool lady, really hip, really cool, just like really cool lady. it's just really cool to see that. So and she had like these like kitten ears on her. She had like a different like headband looking thing. At least from what I've seen in like the 3 days she was there, she had like kitty ears on, and I think one time she had like devil horns on her. So you can definitely tell she was like the life of the party of the show. So here is my picture with me and the uber cool Juliette Lewis. And here's a picture of Juliette Lewis signing my Cape Fear DVD. And her autograph on it. And there you guys have it. That is the recap video. That is my entire convention recap for Monster Mania 39, Monster Mania 59. So I hope you guys enjoyed this convention recap. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more of these videos and more other videos coming up soon. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. You guys take care.